Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Postgame Show, part of Pittsburgh Baseball Now. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. And guess what, ladies and gents? With me, a special guest host, back from the dead, the Godfather himself, Ryan Alexander. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. Is that where I've been? I've been dead.
I think so.
I'm back from the dead. No, it's good to be back, and what a game to have to come back to.
You couldn't have picked a better one. I mean, all the choices, especially lately. I mean, we kept talking about how many wins the Pirates had. At one point it was 9 out of 14, I think they had. And then here you are, the Colorado Rockies. The Pirates going into Colorado. I mean, you could think that could fix a few swings and whatnot. They lose 13-2. So welcome back. Welcome back.
It fixed some of the Rocky swings. What they have, like 7 hits. Usually you're gonna get beat by a bunch of home runs. Yeah, a ton of hits. Only I think they had 2 solo home runs. But I was gonna ask you, when does Bryant start playing left field?
With the Cubs? When you used to do this show?
He played left field with the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, not like exclusively, but he's certainly played there. I mean, he played all around with Joe Madden. Has it been that long, Ryan? Have you forgotten everything about baseball?
See, I'm bored, and he locks blacks from a bunch of games.
Your Wi-Fi is terrible, by the way.
Sounds about right.
I mean, it's just absolutely garbage. What a terrible night for the Pirates and for North Shore 9. I mean, we get Ryan back, and no one can even see you.
DiNardo, I will be right back, actually.
What's funny is Ryan came on the show and said, "Hey, should I blur my background?" I said, "No, definitely not. Like, let's make sure we see you, get a good picture, and like everything's blurred." But as Ryan's apparently maybe taking care of his Wi-Fi, doing something I don't know, the Pirates do go into Colorado. They do lose 13-2. It certainly wasn't pretty. I'm not going to say it was like close to the Yankees. Like, they weren't really in it for the most part. But, I mean, it was much closer until, I don't know, this good bullpen came in and Dillon Peters gave up 6 runs in 2 innings pitched. But no, I mean, Jose Quintana started today. Didn't have the best game for him. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 6 earned runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, just 3 strikeouts. I mean, it's not as if he was getting a lot of like hard contact. No home runs. Again, going to Colorado, no home runs. But he was getting up a lot of contact. There was definitely some bloopers, finding the gaps. I mean, guys were hitting off of him. So this is really back-to-back. Not the best starts, right? Not so good starts from Jose Quintana. His ERA actually balloons up to a 3.99. Before the last 2 starts, I think his ERA was sitting around 3. After the Tyone, right? Him facing the Yankees, where he pitched a gem against the Yankees, right? Matching up the Tyone. I think his ERA was on the 3.2s. And then now to the 3.99 after the last 2 starts. So, yeah, not a good start from Jose Quintana today. And again, it kind of went downhill from there. Chris Stratton comes in after Jose Quintana. He immediately walks 2 guys. As much as I keep trying to be patient with Chris Stratton, as much as I keep saying it, and Jim, I know you're in here as well. I know you're on board with this. I think you're maybe quicker to jump off the boat with it. But as much as I've been trying to stay patient with Chris Stratton and say, you know what, like there's still a lot of stuff that looks the same with him. It's just not coming through. Man, like I'm real worried that Chris Stratton is long and gone. For a guy who you're talking about that you could rely on, especially late innings, last year especially, it's a good pitcher. Anymore, I mean, the ERA is a 5.17. Just everything else is as Jim's saying it. He's a guy, and I'm not even sure if he's a guy anymore. Again, this is why, I mean, bullpen pitchers are so volatile. This is why you can certainly have the argument of certain pitchers, like, do you trade them now? Do you not? Whatever. I mean, they're just so volatile. And one day they just no longer are there. And that's kind of where I'm starting to feel with Chris Stratton. Not that like peak strict Chris Stratton was phenomenal by any means. I mean, he was a solid bullpen pitcher, especially for a rebuilding club. You know what I mean? But at this point in time, it just seems lost. It seems gone. Like that Chris Stratton is gone with the wind. And just kind of adds on to this bullpen as we keep talking about, like, this isn't a good bullpen. And so tonight he comes in, gives up the first 2 walks immediately, gets a clutch double play, but gives up 2 more hits. The earned run comes in. So, I mean, luckily for him, the damage was just an earned run. Then, of course, Dillon Peters comes in. And like the timing of this also was just kind of perfect, on point. We had our NS9 live show last night. Tyler, myself, and Jim were on. One of the big topics was this bullpen. And, I put the video out there of me talking exclusively about Dillon Peters because, Peters, he's given up a lot of walks, which by tonight, he didn't walk anybody. But like what I was mentioning was he's not a big strikeout guy. Like that's going to come back and haunt him. You can't walk as many guys as he does and have a low 3 ERA because he's got the low babe. That's like the big thing we're talking about, especially early on in the season. Like he just wasn't giving up any hits at all. And that's going to catch up to him at some point. And that's why things are going to normalize. That's why we say this bullpen isn't good. It's because who do you really trust? And looking at other stuff outside of the situation of just the ERA itself. So tonight, Dillon Peters comes in and in 2 innings pitched, the hits catch up. So 2 home runs, 8 hits in total, and now his ERA is at a 5.34. So again, as mentioned, as far as like ERA goes and like determining a bullpen just strictly on ERA and such, like so much of it's small sample. And look, relievers, it's hard to judge a reliever just on ERA in and of itself. One bad outing can produce a lot of whatnot. So as Ryan just texted me, apparently, for those wondering, I'm doing a solo show right now. He just texted me and apparently has no internet at the moment. So this might be a solo show for me. So much for bringing Ryan on. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Alexander for 2 minutes of NS9 postgame show. He's back. He is.
You can't take me anywhere. You just can't. So my daughter decided to wake up and come down the stairs. Why? No reason. And then the internet just went down. So I'm back.
Well, Ryan, I will say this. It's glad to have you back. This is why you should never had kids, and therefore you never would have needed to leave NS9.
Yeah, that probably would be about accurate.
Right.
It seems to be running a lot better, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, I basically just did the whole post game for you, so no need for you to come. Just as old times. I carry the show for us, Ryan.
I mean, what else is Apple TV broadcast that I get to watch once a week? You couldn't really ask for a much Pirate-esque game of the past 6-7 years.
Right. No, I was talking about Quintana. I was talking about Stratton. Again, kind of just finish up with Peters. The
good
hits,
bullpen.
It normalized. It normalized. 8 hits in 2 innings. It's got the 5.34 ERA. Like this is why you can't just judge bullpen pitchers just strictly on ERA. I know a lot of these guys that the people were judging on had small sample size. We're talking about 17 innings and such.
Right.
Now, obviously, Peters was injured for a lot of that, and that's why his is a small sample. But now his ERA's ballooned like basically 2 full runs. He's got a 5.34, and this is why like you had concerns. Like, sure, Dillon Peters' ERA was nice looking, but this is why you had concerns about Dillon Peters. And I know it's just one outing tonight, but these were the concerns. Like the hits are going to come, and they came in bunches tonight. So yes, it's not like the game was intact when Quintana came out, but the bullpen made sure that there was
it was over by far. Yes.
Right.
Well, we saw it too in Miami with Bednar. Even Bednar, who's has been great this year. Basically blows 2 games in a row. So things, like you said, things normalize, and unfortunately, the back end, the bad part of the bullpen isn't on games like this, especially in Coors, probably not in their wheelhouse.
Right. And again, like I know this is Coors, so it's probably going to have some runs scored today, right? I get that. And part of like Quintana, like he was getting a lot of hits. Now, again, like none of them were home runs, but hits were coming.
Yep.
I don't know, like your take on this too. Like some people came on, okay, it's time to trade Quintana before anything ruins, like gets any worse, right? Like trade him now. It's been back-to-back bad starts. And I more like look at this like, all right, I mean, it's Coors Field. I know it's back-to-back starts, but I don't think tonight like hinders his trade value. Do you think any GM is like, oh boy, Quintana's giving up 6 runs tonight, we're done. Right. We can't trade for him.
No, like you said, 1 or 2 starts, it's probably not going to move the needle too much. But I mean, I've always been on the don't re-sign him if you can get a trade that makes sense and get a piece or a piece or something. Basically, I would trade him. At this point, I mean, I know I think you went back and forth. I'm not sure where you're at in this camp. I know you were initially way on the trade Quintana train, but I don't know about it now. Did Rosati take you to the dark side or what?
It wasn't Rosati that took me to the dark side. It was more or less Quintana himself. The reason I was way on the trade Quintana one, which is still the point still remains the same, is I'll put it this way. Quintana's impressed me, and that's why right now I'm on the fence, because not that, again, GM's gonna be looking at April's numbers and be like, oh my God, look at Quintana in 4 starts. Let's trade for him and give you a top 100 prospect. Like, they're looking at the same way and saying, I mean, I don't trust it. No one's gonna, like, the Pirates aren't gonna fool anyone. Like, oh, trade him now is his trade chip. Like, it's the highest peak you ever get, right. His value and such. GMs aren't that dumb, especially these days. So, but the thing is, like, he steadily has been consistently good. So that's why I've been, you can talk me into, if he can sign an extension that makes sense, to do so. The reason I was saying trade him is because I don't want the bar to be Quintana. Like, I don't want, it's not as if like keep him instead of trading him because you need good pitchers. Yes, you do need good pitchers, which is why trade him and then go get a better pitcher next year. Like that. My problem is the bar shouldn't be Quintana. The bar should be better. And that's why I'm in that sense, So I'm still, if they trade him and the package makes sense, cool. If they extend him and the extension makes sense, cool. But I could be swayed either way.
I mean, how long would that extension be? Like, he's going to be 34 next year. I'm not in the game of extending, 34-year-old pitchers. But I mean, I get it. Like, at some point, like you said, go get somebody better next year. Well, then what happens when the Pirates are 20 games under at the deadline next year? Are they going to just trade that guy too? Because I mean, that's a discussion we'd be having next year too.
Right. So I guess like it all depends on who is. I mean, I don't want to sound dumb and say something here and next year they do whatever, but it's like just don't sign a 34-year-old for a 1-year deal next year. Like, actually make a signing. You know what I mean?
Actually,
like think about like a 3 or 4 today and long term next year. Like, if the Quintana one, I'm sure it'd be like a 2-year deal, because also like what other club is going to sign Jose Quintana at 34 years old to more than 2 years, especially this day and age in baseball.
Right.
So I think a 2-year makes sense. But the reason I still have like reservations on the whole thing of extensions, because then next year Quintana's 35 and then he's 36. And like, you already had worries of 32-year-old Jose Quintana. So again, that's why I've been on the board of trade him, because get whatever you get out of him and then just get something better than Jose Quintana for the future. But the way he's been pitching, I'd be okay. He provides depth. If that works, his number 5 pitcher, he's number 5 pitcher. Still need to make another signing.
Right. Especially for that rotation, because it's looking bleak. But are we going to talk? You want to talk the lineup, or I mean, Cruz?
Let's talk
about 4 tonight.
Let's talk. You're the guest host. You know what? Let's talk whatever you want to talk about, Ryan. You got like 2.5 years of just wanting to spew things that you haven't been able to.
I don't do. I barely watch games.
At your daughter.
Right. I barely watch games because thanks to MLB. But yeah, I mean, Cruz 0 for 4 tonight. I mean, I know some people have already been kind of on the worry train with him, but I mean, there's 0 for 4. I know your boy Van Meter leading off, which he had an unlucky night tonight, but he was robbed on, speaking of Chris Bryant's defense in left field. But yeah, I don't know.
Then
I mean,
right
Cruz,
to the pitcher. I think he was a reliever at that point. Was it Stevenson? And then he lined one right out to right to the pitcher. Yeah, as much as I hate Josh Van Meter.
Yes.
As much as I hate Josh Van Meter on this team starting as much as he does, he was very unlucky tonight. But then he drops that ball like the pop-up. That takes away everything. Nope. I regret what I said about he was unlucky. He's done. I'm done with him.
Nice play at first where he got lucky and the ball stayed in his glove, but
right. As he checked it like 3 times to make sure it did.
Right. Make sure his arm was still there.
Right.
As he ran into the Rockies turned into the Pirates of, the ghost of the Pirates past with Connor Joe and Diaz. And I'm like, what is going on? And Chris Bryant, Cubs Pirate killer with the Cubs. But yeah, I was like, this is a fun lineup. But I mean, Rockies aren't good. But yeah, I'm a little starting to get worried about some of the bats. I mean, even Hayes had a hit tonight, but I mean, he's been kind of just treading along, but Cruz 0 for 4 again tonight. And I don't know. What do you think about Cruz and what you want to see more from him and everything?
I mean, if you want to talk about the positive in Cruz, he didn't strike out tonight. Let's put it that way. I mean, he was making contact. Of course, it pretty much seemed like every time he did, it was like just a grounder up the middle. It got out. That last one, Cruz is a prospect. Cruz is someone we know that there was risk involved. I think a lot of the risk was minimized, like as he progressed, though, what you're expecting from him. But you can there are certainly things from Oneil Cruz that you look at and you're like, okay, like I wish he was hitting more, right? But the thing about Cruz is he is just so talented, and it doesn't matter that he's actually struggling. Things that he is able to do makes him go viral like every single night. So tonight he threw a ball faster than he did yesterday. So he broke his own record on the fastest throw in the infield again. And then, like what I'm alluding to is that ball that he hit his last out, like he almost beat that out. Like it was a grounder to first base.
Yeah.
And he almost beat
play.
that out. So he is, even in his struggles, like he goes 0 for 4 tonight. And this isn't me like trying to like praise him for going 0 for 4, but I'm just saying, like, this is why you're excited to see this type of a prospect, because he has so many tools, so much talent. And yeah, like that last, it was an out, but it was like, oh my God, he almost beat out a grounder to first base.
Yeah, I went to the first game of the Yankees 2-game series, and I mean, he had a couple balls in that were outs, but they were rockets right at somebody line drive. So I've been more. I mean, I think we know the bat's going to be there. He may be a bit overmatched right now, but I mean, like you said, he's making contact, he's putting it in play. The hit should start falling in. Now we'll see if how much power comes with it. But I've been really, I mean, the big question mark with him was, the defense with shortstop. Was he going to stay at shortstop with, 6-7 shortstop? And I mean, been obviously really impressed with what we've seen. I mean, he's done it at short. He, like you said, the speed over on his throws and stuff have made headlines and things like that around Twitter. So I've been impressed with that. And I think I think Cruz will be fine. Obviously the bat, but it's the question mark at shortstop, because if he's able to stick at shortstop for the Pirates, it's a game changer. And so far, I would say, mission accomplished.
It's ironic.
Or comments that all say Siwoo's and Cruz. Yeah,
besides that, with Cruz's call up. Now, mind you, like we are starting to get the territory where the plate appearances are piling on. And so now I think truly to have some concerns, some legit worries about the batter there. But I guess I'm saying is ironic is in his call up, with all the worries and all the concerns about you had with Oneil Cruz, it's the bat that hasn't looked good and the defense that has actually looked really good.
Right.
It's a complete flip. Everyone said how his defense is terrible. Look at all these errors. Put him in the outfield because he'll never play defense at shortstop. And it doesn't even look adequate. Like he makes some really good defensive plays at short. Now, mind you, the arm, which really was led to most of his errors, right? The arm, it makes you cringe here and there. He does like to throw a lot of it in the dirt at times. So if you don't have a first baseman who's good, like Chavis has done a fantastic job, but like you jokingly said today with Josh Van Meter, he got it, but he was kind of unsure if he did for a little bit there. But I mean, give him credit, he got it. So he saved out Cruz there. The arm, it's It's going to give you some challenges. But defensively, his range, all of that, he looks so good at shortstop.
Right. And that was a question mark. So, I mean, I think if, that's the surprising thing about it. And like you said, ironic. So I think the hits and everything, I think he'll be fine at the plate, obviously. And it is early, obviously, but the fact that what we've seen from defense, and I mean, we questioned it for years, him coming through the minors, like the old regime and this regime, like sticking him at short for all those times. It's like they must believe that he has a chance to stick there, because why would you keep playing him at short? If
why
he was
the
that
hell
bad?
do you even entertain playing him in the outfield? But I digress.
Right. Well, exactly. That was the other question mark there. And why would you do it so late into the process?
Right.
But yeah, they ended up sticking him there. And so far, like I said, I mean, I haven't watched too many games, but like you said, it's like he's going viral every night with something. But I mean, he looks fine over there. He looks really actually good. So if he can stick there as opposed to being a right fielder, yeah, he should be pretty good. And him and Hayes next to each other for hopefully years to come. I mean,
yeah. You know, it's the ironic, not really ironic, I guess, but like the funny part about this too is, like I said this a few times, if you're going to have a shortstop who's a unicorn like Oneil Cruz, and like you can find so much value in having what he could be as a prospect at short, nothing helps solve that than having Ke'Bryan Hayes next to you. You know, if you're concerned about playing him at short, Ke'Bryan Hayes will solve a lot of those issues. But as we're finding out, it's not actually like the range and the defensive part and that like the glove that gives you words. It's the throwing part. So that's the other thing. The way he plays defense at short, and then having Ke'Bryan Hayes, I mean, that left side is locked. You're not getting, and of course he's 6'7". Like all he has to do is lay down, and he can give like Ke'Bryan Hayes a high five. Right. So like literally nothing's going through them too. So I mean, yeah, defensively for like the next, hopefully you mentioned decade, what could be over there. Kind of exciting.
Also him running, because we heard the comparison to he runs like Polanco did. And right off the bat, you're like, oh no, like that's not good, because you could see how Polanco would just injure himself or fall down just standing or running, and he looks a lot better than Polanco did, just like running around the field. So that's a positive too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know how last year facetiously they called Jacob Stallings the cheetah? Like that is literally what Oneil Cruz is.
Yep.
That's also what they call that really fast receiver that played for the Chiefs and now is in Miami this year, who apparently he runs faster than. So again, like this is nothing like Polanco. And what you're finding in him isn't much like Polanco either.
Is this Bucko Mike in here?
That is Bucko Mike, by the way. This is a Bucko Mike. If you couldn't tell just by the way everything's written.
And apparently Kershaw's got zeros across the board.
Yeah. Apparently.
So
must be fun to be like a Dodgers show.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice to actually have like pitchers that, are good and still are good even at their age?
Right. Yeah. So enough about Cruz. I mean, it's not like you really want to talk about much about this lineup. Let's talk once again, though, Jake Marisnick. Like Jake Marisnick, we knew about the glove coming into this year. He's certainly shown the glove. Not that he's done it like this whole year, but coming back from the IL, the bat, oh my God. And then tonight, 2 more doubles.
Yep.
I don't even want to say Mike Trout because he's better defensively than Mike Trout.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, he's better than Mike Trout, Jake Marisnick.
So can we trade him for something? that was a good signing. It was a good pickup.
Yeah.
He just came back too, right?
Yeah. This the 4th game back, I believe.
Yeah.
And that time I know of 2 home runs, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. I mean, the power. He's always had power. He's been a power speed guy. Just doesn't make great bat to ball skills. But so far from the IL, Jake Marisnick looking good. Again, this is the time to get hot. But obviously, I'm not sure. Like this stretch is going to change many GM's opinions too. Like, oh my god, he is Mike Trout. I need to trade for him. Here, take my prospects. But he's certainly in my eyes
he's Mike Trout.
No, I did.
Okay,
I am.
I was gonna say. I was like,
because he is. He's better than Mike Trout right now.
Oh boy,
facts.
It's no good. No, but I mean, obviously, it was a good pickup, and Marisnik was one of those. Like before we had him, like I didn't realize he was as good of a defender as he is. Was just one of those kind of a surprising once he put the Pirates uniform on and everything. So he's been good. I guess one of the I know everyone's been talking about Sawinski. I don't know if you wanted to go there, but yeah, one of the pickups that Cherington has actually hit on, I guess.
I mean, did you want to talk about Sawinski, who no longer exists? If we're talking about a post-game show, this isn't the Indianapolis Indians post-game show, Ryan.
Do you know what he did tonight? I didn't even see it.
Actually, I don't. I didn't see either.
But it's just
I was too interested in this 13-2 loss.
It's just so much talk about Sawinski. I mean, which he obviously went into a slump. He's had a great year. He's at obviously the pop and everything. He homered against the Yankees in the game. I was there. I think that was the last hit that he had. What was that, July 5th or whatever?
The 5th.
Yep. So, but I mean, obviously he's struggling. They felt the need to send him down. It's just like I get it with Van Meter, but you can't send everybody down, I guess. So there's a lot of talk about this, and I just don't think. It's like, what's the point? I mean, the dude's struggling. If he goes down for a week or two, is it that big of a deal? I don't know.
Again, my thing is, like, you can certainly have the argument of sending him down right now for his extended streak of no hits. What really set me off and bothered me was seeing Mackey's tweet in regards to his source told him that the plan all along was to send him down after Milwaukee. But because of Reynolds' injury, that forced him to stay a little bit until this happened. So if that were to be the case, then this had nothing to do really with his struggles, because it wasn't that deep of a struggle after Milwaukee's series. I mean, that was 4 more games with Miami, right? That it had continued with. So like at that point in time, that just tells me everything I needed to know. Like it wasn't about the actual performance. So again, like now then he goes down to Miami. Now you can spin it performance. But if the plan all along was, to send him down at that point in time, it had nothing to do with performance. And that's what pissed me off, because again, you have guys like Josh Van Meter, who's batting 187 on the year, who is terrible, and he's starting 60% of the games that he plays that he's on the roster for. Like, how do you do that? Yeah, leading off. I mean, again, like this is coming from me, and everything. Like Kevin Newman leading off makes a way more sense. Like, why did that not happen? How do you have Josh Van Meter leading off and Kevin Newman batting 6th?
Yeah, it's no good the whole way across the board. But I mean, I don't know, because even if it was before the Brewers series, I mean, he still was. I guess it wasn't a huge slump, but it was still somewhat performance. I mean, he hasn't been. The power has been there consistently, but not really like the other, the average and everything else with Sawinski. So
right.
I just, like I said, I just don't think it's as big of a deal, especially when he'll probably be back up into 2 weeks, especially if some trades do happen. So I don't know, send him down. Maybe he can get some of that minor league pay that just came down and come back up.
He gets from the class action lawsuit. He's got a check coming.
Can he apply for that now?
I mean, I assume he probably gets it, because he probably would have been involved in that.
Right. He would have been in the minors at that point too. Yeah. So there you go. Maybe
is that how they spun it? Do you think do you think Cherington was like, hey, listen now, I'm going to send you down. I want to manipulate your service time for you. We need an extra year, but it's okay, because I'll tell you what, I got ears all over. My sources say you're going to get a nice check tomorrow, so things will be all right. Things will even out. Right. Do you think that's what happened?
How about that story? Like, so they get the amount, the class action lawsuit or whatever, but like they're just going to keep paying them the same, right? That hasn't changed,
right?
So are we going to have another class action lawsuit in another year? Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. They do minor league dirty.
Yeah.
And for all the people who are like, Screw them. They play a kids game for a living.
Yeah, well, I'm working 9 to 5. Yeah, right. Exactly.
But no, that is funny. Yeah, they get is that $180 million, 187, something like that.
Yeah, 185, something like that.
185, and then after a lawyer's cut, turns out to be 120. So yeah, I assume that Jack Suwinski probably has a check.
As Jim says, that payout comes to like $6,000 per player, which is probably about right.
Yeah, here's MLB making $12 billion a year.
Yeah,
sorry guys, we can't afford minimum wage.
They of course they settled for that. Like Jim said, they put a Band-Aid on it, but they're not gonna fix the root of the problem in minor leagues, are they?
No,
it doesn't sound like it.
I mean, I will say some teams are doing better than others, and that's nice. And I will say too, the Pirates are one of them that do better than other organizations, but it's still not, in my eyes, good enough for a lot. But that's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother time that you come in 3 years from now.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's the next time I'll be back.
Yes. But I mean, I don't know. Like, what else do you want to tell? I mean, Cal Mitchell, due to Suwinski going down, Cal Mitchell comes up. He had a great defensive play, which is ironic. So, like you mentioned, the Chris Bryant robbery, right? The thief of joy. He takes away a Josh Van Meter hit out there is a really fantastic catch. Cal Mitchell returns the favor, a 5-star catch, robbing Chris Bryant. So very, very fantastic catch on his part. He does go 1 for 3 tonight.
I like Cal Mitchell. I've liked him when he was kind of, when he was coming up and everything. And I know the minor leagues was so weird because, I mean, those guys, Swaggerty with injuries and then the COVID year where they lost a year and everything. I mean, those guys just, it feels like they've been there forever, but they really are behind a year basically. But I like Cal Mitchell. I'm glad that he's up and getting a somewhat of a shot to show what he has. And I mean, I think he's hitting like under 200 right now, but like you said, he just came back up. Hopefully these guys can get some consistent at bats and we can see what, if any of these, because I feel like they have so many corner outfielders in general that are young and coming up. So hopefully some of these guys stick,
Yeah. Like to me, I'm happy that he's here. Right. I kind of liked him in our days of NS9, right? As a prospect coming up, what it'll be. But to me, I feel like he is kind of more like just a guy. But like I mentioned last night, I will say this too. Like, I am glad that it is him. Like for Jack Suwinski going down, I'm glad at least it was Cal Mitchell here because I was dead set that it was going to be Greg Allen. I just, you had that internal feeling like this is going to be a dumb, stupid move. It's going to be Greg Allen's up here for why. I don't need to see some 29-year-old who's never stuck to any team in baseball. You know what I mean? So it's Cal Mitchell. I don't have high hopes for him, but I want to see him. And I'm sure Ben Cherington wants to see him. And I'm sure it'd be good for Cal Mitchell to see Major League Baseball this year as well. So like, I'll give him that. Like, I am glad at least to see that it was Cal Mitchell. And he had a good game tonight, all in all.
It's the same thing with like Swaggerty. Like, I don't have huge high hopes for Swaggerty either at this point, but at least they're here. At least they're, well, at some point he was here, but at least they're here and like getting opportunities.
He was here for a week and started 3 out of the 7 games.
Right. But at least at least these guys are finally up and getting some at bats and play and everything. And I mean, it's like with Suwinski, the year that he's had, they weren't really expecting that at this point. I mean, what was he? He came in the Frazier deal, right?
Suwinski, yeah.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, we were all looking at Marcano and not Suwinski in that deal, and it was kind of like a throw in another outfielder, but Suwinski definitely took off this year. So, like I said, we'll see him again. I'm sure it'll be real soon here, probably after the deadline, and I doubt they trade him. I saw that. Wasn't that a rumor going around on Twitter too that Suwinski? Well, maybe that was the hug watch when he was getting hugged. It was like, I don't think we're trading Suwinski, but you never know with Ben Cherington.
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, it's first off, it's Pirates Twitter. It's a trade deadline season, right? So everyone's involved. There's all kinds of rumors, and I mean, Justin's part of Pirates Twitter. So I think Justin has a package for every Pirates player. Judson on JV, right? On Twitter. Everyone knows our boy there. So I think he has a package for every player involved. So I want to put it past him that he has some type of Sawinski package and has gone out there. But yeah,
hey, I was getting worried during the little winning streak they had. I was expecting them to rip off like 15 in a row and BC go and add pieces to the team. You know,
I brought with Tyler.
Shades of
that
Neil
was
Huntington.
the night they were 9 of the last 14. I said they have to get past this
scary stuff.
Colorado series, and then but there's 15 games left till the trade deadline.
Right.
And at that point in time, I think there are 13 games below, maybe 12 games below 500. So I was like, what are the chances that they pull off this stretch? And hey, there's Chris Archer sitting with a 3.08 ERA in Minnesota.
Yeah, of course he is.
Right. Come on.
Of course he
right?
is. Yeah. So
the Pirates did that. They're getting hot right now in July.
And trade 3 of their top prospects for him.
They don't have to, see, that's the thing. You don't even have to do that anymore.
Well,
but I think
you didn't have to do that the first time around. I don't think
we're sealing off the idea that this is going to be a hot streak. Nope, they are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were. That's right. Those 2 extra inning losses that's a tough way to lose a nice little winning streak, but it had to be done. So the GM didn't lose his mind again.
It had to be done. I like it. Yeah.
Dude, I'm all, you know me, back when I'm all for the tank. They need more top 5 picks. Keep them coming. Let's lose out.
I mean, that's not guaranteed anymore, though.
Good point. But
yep. They'll have the number 4. They'll have the number 4 this upcoming Sunday.
Bucko Mike says Allen had 3 hits tonight.
Great. He's
right.
Literally a man among boys. I mean, it's like taking someone out of college and putting them into a junior high basketball game or baseball game or football game and watching them dominate and be like, you know what? He had a good game. Let's take a look at him. You should.
Right.
He's twice the age of all those guys.
Is he that old? How old is he?
He's 29.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's kind of the journeyman quad A player at this point.
Yeah. 666 total career plate appearances in MLB.
Greg Allen is ready, says Smitty. Call him up.
Right. Yeah. But so yeah, I don't know. Anything else that you really want to talk about as far as the game, offensively, defensively, pitching wise?
No, the pitching wise was pretty bad tonight. There was a lot of hits. I'm telling you, man, for as many hits as the Rockies had, it was only, I think it was rated a 3-hour game. That's kind of crazy, but I guess the Pirates offense made up for that by not.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel like the Marlins games went rather quickly, but most of that was because there was a lack of offense. Well, I guess except for the extra inning games, obviously. The right. Normal games went rather quick, not a whole lot of offense. And you're right, today went decently quick as well, and there was a ton of offense. Maybe it's because
it was 3:03 was the game time.
Yeah, it was 1-2. Like every at bat was just 2 pitches though, and it was a hit. 2 pitches and a hit.
Well, but if you think, Coors Field, 17 hits, 13-2 game, you're thinking, oh God, it's going to be over 3.5 hours, if not 4. But yeah, it was a pretty quick game for just getting smoked around the ballpark.
Yep. 3 hours, 3 minutes exactly is what it was.
I literally said that like 40 seconds ago.
Oh, but I heard 3 hour. I thought it was like
I heard 3:03. Yeah, 3:03.
I wasn't listening.
Anyway, tomorrow, Mitch Keller in Coors Field. Get ready.
So, what do you think about that?
Oh God, I mean, he's coming off of a pretty good start, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But it's another thing. I don't have high hopes for a lot of these guys. At this point, I don't have high hopes for Mitch Keller. It's like, it's good that they're there. You're seeing them get experience, get some innings or at bats. But it's hard to have really high expectations for a lot of these guys, besides like Cruz and Hayes and some of the bigger prospects that are coming up. But yeah, at this point, like Swaggerty, Cal Mitchell, Keller, like it's just you're hoping something sticks with these guys and Keller really turns it around before this ends up becoming another Glasnow thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it's another Glasnow thing with Keller. If they were to trade him, he's going to watch him blow up somewhere else. But I don't know if Keller's that guy. But it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, he needs to really put together. He needs to start pitching well more than just to start. Keller greater than Kershaw. All right. And that's where we're at.
Ryan's like, time to log off again.
Yeah. And I'm out for the next 2 years.
Right. No, I mean, I've been very intrigued by Keller, with him adding this 2-seamer and now back with the 4-seamer as well, mixing the both of them. Certainly intrigued by Mitch Keller, but it's going to be interesting. Coors Field. I know it's just one start, and this one start's not going to define anything, but now he's in Coors Field. So I don't even know what to tell you what tomorrow's going to be. He's going to give up contact because that's what he does now, right? And he's limited to home runs, but
so keep it low.
Coors Field. So I'm kind of nervous how tomorrow's going to go for him. But again, tomorrow's start isn't going to define much for me anyways for his season. But yeah, I'm certainly encouraged by Keller right now.
It needs to be consistent. Like I said, he doesn't need a gem tomorrow, but he just more starts than not. He needs to be consistent. It just seems like he's been so up and down, mostly down, at least or start the season. But like you said, more encouraging lately. So we'll what could they trade him for? Here we go.
Smitty says if Keller has a good start tomorrow, what could they trade him for?
Yeah, maybe package him and Sawinski.
Why not? Throw in Josh Van Meter. Every team needs that kind of a guy.
At least the Pirates finally cut the cord with Cole Tucker. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but ironically enough,
so did the Diamondbacks.
How do you cut it with Tucker and have all these other guys still? How does Josh Van?
That's just it. Somebody has to play DiNardo. You can't get rid of them all. You can't send them all down.
You could, or you could just sign better people to begin with.
I mean, they only had how many middle infielders going into spring?
All of them.
6,000. Yeah, all of them is right.
It's half the year they've carried 2 outfielders on the team.
We got Newman playing second base tonight. It's with Apple TV, Kevin Newman's the baseline of the Pirates lineup. I'm like, oh wow, what?
So I want to say something, and same thing I said in there. It's funny, but here's the thing: it's kind of also true. You've seen this offense, right?
God,
he pretty much is the baseline of this offense.
Yeah, he's the baseline already. More like the flat line.
Well, that's what this offense is.
Well, there you go.
That's such a dumb comment, but think about it. There
was
true.
A lot of dumb comments in that broadcast, but I like the part where they showed every Pirates traded from 2015 till now, and they said they were traded as part of the rebuild. Neil Walker in 2015 was not supposed to be part of the rebuild.
Right.
We traded for pitching and John Neese, which didn't work out, but
part of the rebuild was trading for Chris Archer and giving up the rebuild.
Yeah, pretty much that started the rebuild or put you into the rebuild. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, anyway, go to Apple TV. Friday night, I can watch again.
I don't think there's any more Pirate games this year on Apple TV, is there? Do you know of?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
There was there was 1 or 2 earlier in the year? Because I know I watched one other at least.
There was just one the other night. I felt like it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I think
I think there was one early. I thought there was one early in the season.
Yeah, I think this might be the third, but I don't remember too many. So I think this is it. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be more later, but
yeah,
it's probably not good for Apple TV to be, playing a lot of Pirate games. I don't think they're getting the ROI on their investment there.
No. How about the game that they played with no announcers? Did you see that?
Was the Tigers game? NBC, yeah. I think.
I was like, you know what? But then you think about Greg Brown and Bob Walk, and you're like, no announcers makes sense. I could ride with that.
Talk about just sending it in though. It's like, you know what?
Yeah,
we don't even want to call the Tigers game. This team.
The sounds of the game.
We're just not going to. If you guys want to watch, just watch. If not, we'll
put a center field. We'll put a camera out there in center field. If you want to watch it, go ahead. We're not gonna move it or call it. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh man. So anything else in this game or anything in particular? Anything that you want to? Again, this has been like you left, or was it June of 2020? Was like the last
that
show.
Long ago?
We brought on
2 years.
We brought on Tyler. We brought on Jim.
Well,
and it was before the season started.
Around, but yeah, we brought him on kind of full time.
And yeah, like we had that one show with all of us on there. It was like, welcome to NS9, everyone. And like the next show was like, oh, and by the way, I'm leaving.
Yeah, whoops.
Right.
Is it? So, I can't believe it's been 2 years already, but
it's been, I think, 25 months. So in this 25 months, and you made a pact with me, by the way, sir, that once a year you would come on, and you haven't fulfilled that.
Well, technically, I told you I was on a Spaces. That was my yearly, I think, quota, but I think that was like the beginning of this year. So yeah, I wasn't on last year. I don't think.
No,
I think I watched like the COVID year. I think I watched like literally like 5 games. Like it was bad, and then I didn't go to any.
That was still 25% of the season.
I know that was like a third of the season. Right. But but talk about that was that was like the perfect season to get the number, like to get a top pick, because yeah, you didn't have to lose all year. It was perfect.
It was also a perfect season to try to get a championship too.
But the game with the Yankees that I went to on the 5th of this month, like that, it's just that was my first Pirate game, and probably since before COVID, since 19, I think. So like I've been out of it, man. Out of the Buccos, cut the cord, doing real estate. You know how it is. Bucko Mike, let me know if you need a house.
I was going to ask you then. You know, like I said, if there's nothing for tonight, I mean, after 25 months of not having a podcast and be able to talk, anything else that you want to just talk? Anything grinding your gears? Anything you
caught me off guard now. No, not just like at some point.
You just want to promote your real estate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, give me a call. Give me a call. I got my little postcards here. No, actually, if you need a Steelers magnet schedule, give me a call. I'll mail one to you. But did you get yours? I'm pretty sure I sent it. So I think that's what you're
this
doing.
One.
There it is. Look at that guy. That's the Pittsburgh pro football schedule.
There you go.
It's not the Steelers. It's the pro football schedule. No, I mean, just at some point, you know, we got a lot of these young guys up playing, but at some point this rebuild needs to, like, you know, end and then show some actually winning. But it's funny we talk about all this, but Donardo, they're in 3rd place. They're not that bad, right?
Doesn't that make it more depressing?
I know. 3rd place.
Like how terrible this team is, and they're in 3rd place.
Is it the worst division in baseball?
I mean, hasn't it kind of been the worst division in baseball for a little bit of time? After it's been, think about that too, is one of the most competitive divisions in baseball.
That's one way to spin it.
Ironically enough, you talk about the bad luck with the Pirates. You know, like they were good, and like you still had the Cardinals, which were the best team in baseball, as the Pirates were like the 2nd best with that ridiculous record, you know? But like how long you had the Reds there, you had the Brewers there, and then when they were going away, the Cubs were coming up. So it was like the NL Central was so competitive for a while, and then everyone just sucked. Yeah. And it's been that way. It's like, here's a great time to start capitalizing. And you decide
it's them or the AL West, probably, but it's a pretty bad division this year. But it might have a pennant race anyway between the two. Jim, you didn't get a schedule. Give me your address. I'll send you one.
Post it on here too, Jim.
Yeah.
Type the address in the comments. I promise I won't put it out there for everyone to see.
There you go. Louisville? Louisville?
Louisville.
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 Louisville. Louisville. I think it's Louisville.
All right. So you're a betting man. So tomorrow, Pirates or Rockies?
I am going to, let's see here. The Rockies are minus 130, which the Pirates would probably be like plus 110 or whatever. Yeah, I'd bet the Rockies.
Probably smart. Probably smart.
Yes. Because Keller, I could see Keller having a Coors Field bad game. Louisville.
That's what I'm worried on. And again, that's what I'm going to say, because It's not going to change my mind on Keller.
Mm-mm.
Keller's doing good stuff, but I am worried tomorrow about Coors Field effect for Mitch Keller.
You think that could, like, if he has a bad game, it could like set him back more than one start?
No, I don't think for him. That's the thing too. Like mentally, I feel like I'm not saying he's there and he's like this bulldog, but mentally he's in a much better place. So I won't even think like tomorrow if he screws up and has like a bad game, like, oh, he's done, he's off the rails now. It's just I feel like tomorrow he could have a bad game. I have really, really good feeling in my gut that tomorrow he could kind of just like implode a bit. But that's fine. Just a one game implosion and we'll move forward. And he can still continue to do his successful pitching outings. This is something. So that's the opposite, though. Like Oneil Cruz going into Colorado, I was hoping to see some fireworks tonight. I didn't.
Right.
We still have a few more games. But yes, I want to see Oneil Cruz hit one into a mountain. Like the ball actually just like lodges in between rocks.
Hit one into the Coors Mountains. Yeah.
Right.
Why not?
So
yeah, hopefully two more. I mean, hopefully, because obviously the Pirates offense didn't do much of anything tonight, but hopefully being in Coors, we can get some hits going, some at bats going, and maybe make it a game in one of these games. How about? I still can't believe this team swept the Dodgers at one point. Like that was this year, right?
Yeah, it was
in LA.
Yep.
How in the hell?
Yeah, because like Duarte even tweeted at us almost as if like we won the World Series. Like, congratulations, guys. I'm like, oh, get some regular season win, chill.
Duarte,
but at the same time, yeah, like that happened.
There you go. Yeah, that's Duarte. That's funny. But yeah, I can't believe. I still can't. I can't believe it.
Right,
because
we know they're 30 miles away, Jim. We know, and Oneil Cruz can hit it there.
Yeah, Cruz can do that. What's he talking about? Are you doubting Cruz?
What a hater.
But like you said, no strikeouts tonight.
It's official. Jim doesn't like Oneil Cruz. Send him down to AAA.
He'll line them all down there. Yeah, get Greg Allen up here.
All right, man. Anything else?
No. Maybe I'll do another one of these late West Coast games later this year, because that seems like the only free time I have.
Let us know in the chat if you want Ryan back on. Comment, like, subscribe. If you don't, just delete this account forever.
And if you want a Steelers schedule, send me your address.
No. If you want a Pittsburgh football schedule.
Yeah. And I'll have Pirate schedules at the beginning of next year. Don't worry.
No. You'll have the Pittsburgh Baseball Club schedule.
That's true. Maybe I could do the Pittsburgh Baseball Club.
There you go.
PBC. You know, I tried finding one of those hats, like the vintage PBC hats. I couldn't find shit.
We should create them.
We could, but I mean, they're out there. I've seen somebody wear one, but I don't know where the heck they got it. You have to tell Fanatics to get it, Donardo.
I'll let them know.
There you go. Hey, we got one request for Ryan back.
We got one. Williams wins. I don't know. Yeah. Sounds like a big L. He wants Ryan back.
He's a winner. What can you say?
Yeah. So, hey, it's fantastic having you on. I hope we have more of these.
Me too. This is a good time.
Yep. But I hope
hopefully more Pirate wins. After Pirate wins, I want wins. There's going to be so much winning. But that wasn't you that tweeted that out, was it?
That wasn't. I tweeted out another Trump. I mean,
yeah, that was
the tweets are gold. The content.
Oh my god, yeah, that's what I actually.
Son of a bitch off the field. He's fired.
The Pirate Twitter over the past year is like incredible. Like the whole, Jim getting, oh my god, I'm blanking. Operation Shutdown to do the cameo and stuff.
Yes.
And I think did it start with Clint Hurdle? Was Hurdle the first one?
No. So the way I feel it started with Mitch with Matt Adams.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I think Clint was the second.
Then Hurdle. That's right. But like, yeah, just gold. I mean, it's been gold all year. And then the one where the Pirates had that 4-game winning streak, and it was the P on Trump. But there's going to be so much winning. Yeah, that was fantastic. The Pirates Twitter has really stepped up their game. That's for sure. It's been awesome.
Yep. All right. Well, Ryan, appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
We'll talk to you again. Tomorrow we'll be back on after Mitch Keller gives up 13 runs. I hope not.
I'm nervous though about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But we'll be back on after tomorrow night. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.